Hi students, very good evening all. Welcome back to Sri Ramanuja Vidya Mandir. Students, as we are discussing about the diversity in the living organisms. Okay, so why do the organisms are categorized into different kingdoms, and so why the scientists given a special scientific name to each and every organism that we all discussed. And now I would like to explain about the two kingdom classification. This was given by the Mr. Carolus Linnaeus, and here actually students, he divided all the organisms into two main categories. Those are plant kingdom and animal kingdom. So first let us talk about this classification. Actually in the 1758, Linnaeus classified the living world into two kingdoms, Plantae and Animalia. Under plant kingdom, so he included bacteria, fungi, algae, bryophytes, ferns, gymnosperms and the angiosperms. In the next one, that is about the kingdom Animalia. So in this kingdom, he included all the kinds of animals, and he also added the protozoans, hydra, worms, insects, spiders, fishes, snakes, birds and mammals, including humans. So as you should know that humans will come under the mammals. Okay, next. See students, classification of organisms into plants and animals were easily done and was easy to understand, in spite a large number of organisms did not fall into either category. So for example, there is an exception, that is Euglena. So Euglena is just having the both type of the features. Plant features it's also have, in the same way it is also having the animal features also. See students, it is having the Euglena have the chlorophyll pigment, but it lacks the cell wall. The unique feature of the plant cell is presence of cell wall and the chlorophyll pigment, right? But our Euglena, it is just having the chlorophyll, able to synthesize the materials by the process of photosynthesis, but it is not consist of the cell wall. It has the autotrophic mode of nutrition, but in dark it follows the heterotrophic mode of nutrition. Let us move on to the next slide. Just see the different kingdoms of two kingdoms of our Linnaeus, Plantae and Animalia. So this is the exception of Euglena. I explained, so as it is having the chlorophyll, it can synthesize the food materials, but it lacks the cell wall. So this is the structure of Euglena, students. Next, and other important thing, so very important, you need to remember, that is about the virus. Okay, so you all know that virus is one of the microorganism, and only under the electron microscope only we could able to see the structure, even the presence of virus. Yeah, this virus belongs to neither plant kingdom or animal kingdom, as they share the living and non-living organisms. So we cannot place this virus purely under the plant kingdom and under the animal kingdom. The reason is that so it can exist as a living organism, or in the same way it also may exist as the non-living organism. So this is the typical structure of virus, students. See, now come to the actual classification, and it is the most accepted classification. So he is Mr. Robert Harding Whittaker. He gave the classification, that is 5 kingdom classification, right? This Whittaker classified the organisms into 5 categories: Monera, Protista, fungi, Plantae and Animalia. What are those, students? Monera, Protista, fungi, Plantae and Animalia, right? So let us discuss the different criteria which are necessary for the classification of this 5 kingdom classification, students. Let us discuss all this. So, on the basis of absence or the presence of membrane-bound cell organelles, all the living organisms are classified into prokaryotes and eukaryotes. So, students, the division led to the formation of kingdom Monera, which includes all the prokaryotes. Our first one, that is Monera. This Monera includes all the prokaryotes. Okay, on the basis of cellularity, unicellular eukaryotes form kingdom Protista and the multicellular eukaryotes. So, those are fungi, plantae and Animalia. So, cell wall, kingdom Animalia are then separated from the kingdom Plantae only on the basis of the cell wall. So, mode of nutrition, again there is another classification. See, since fungi and the plantae both contain the cell wall, they are separated into different kingdom on the basis of the mode of nutrition. Fungi just follows the saprophytic nutrition, whereas our plants, they'll be following the autotrophic nutrition. So I just see the mind map, students. Actually, first, organisms are classified basing on the presence of cell organelles. Okay, prokaryotes and the eukaryotes. So, under prokaryotes, Monera, right? So, again eukaryotes again classified into two types basing on the presence of number of cell, unicellular and multicellular. Under unicellular, we should talk about the Protista. And come to the next one, that is multicellular. Here, again divide into two more types basing on the presence of cell wall. See, students, basing on the presence of cell wall, right? And see here, here fungi and the plantae. Fungi cannot synthesize the food. Simply it is following the saprophytic nutrition. Saprophytic nutrition, as our fungi is not having the chlorophyll pigment, it cannot go for the photosynthesis, right? So next, plantae, it is able to perform the photosynthesis, that is having all the requirements which are necessary for the process of photosynthesis. And that at last we should talk about Animalia. So here the cells are not lined by the cell wall. Cell wall means, students, it is only present in the plant cell. Cell wall is absent in the animal cell. See, students, all these are the very, very fundamental points you should remember. Okay, so don't get confused. Plant cell in the sense cell wall, plastids, vacuole. Okay, so all these which I mentioned now, all three are absent in animal cell. Understood? Like, say, one more mind map with Robert H. Whittaker. Understand, students? See, these yellow ones are highlights of the 5 kingdom classification: Monera, Protista, fungi, plantae and Animalia. First, let us discuss about the first kingdom, that is the Monera. Okay, Monera means, students, prokaryotic cell. So, prokaryotic cell. So, these prokaryotic organisms are primitive organisms, students. Primitive. Okay. Ancestors. And this Monera includes mostly unicellular organisms. Unicellular prokaryotic cells are Monerans. And they are prokaryotes. Their chromosome material is just not enclosed by the nuclear envelope. So, our prokaryotics having the naked DNA. So, this naked DNA is known as nucleoid, students. Nucleoid. Okay, so what it means here, the nucleus is not surrounded by any envelope. So, students, I think already I have explained you in the cell, the fundamental unit of the life. I have explained that cells are divided into two types, prokaryotes and the eukaryotes. On what basis, students? Simply on the basis of the envelope, so nuclear envelope. So, there are some cells, they lack the nuclear envelope. Those are prokaryotic cell. Okay, so that is the reason. See, simply here the genetic material is just it is present in the cytoplasm. It is not having any cover. Okay, that is the reason. So we'll call that as the naked DNA is present in the prokaryotes. It is also known as nucleoid. It is not having the matured nucleus. Okay, right. And it means the genetic material is not at all organized into nucleus, and it lies directly inside the cytoplasm. It is just present in the cytoplasm, known as nucleoid. And so, moreover, other cell organelles such as mitochondria, Golgi apparatus, lysosomes are absent in our prokaryotic cell. Cell wall may or may not be present, and the mode of nutrition it may be. So sometimes there are some prokaryotic, they'll be following the autotrophic mode of nutrition, and there are some other prokaryotic cells, they are following the heterotrophic mode of nutrition. Okay students, once again I'm just highlighting the this diagram. Okay, let us move on to the next slide students, and the next one is Protista, kingdom Protista. So in Greek, Protista means the first of all. So Protista means first of all. It is the unicellular eukaryotic. So Protista means, what you have to remember students, it is unicellular, means here this Protista is having the single cell in its body, and eukaryotics, okay, well developed cell organization is there in the case of unicellular eukaryotic, that is Protista. Protista includes single cell. As you all know that they are the eukaryotes, they have well defined membrane bound nucleus. So in the cell of the Protista, they'll be having the well defined, means enclosed nucleus is there. So this is the nucleus, and here nuclear envelope is there students. Understand? Then membrane bound organelles like nucleus, mitochondria, endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi bodies, or everything is present in our Protista, like Golgi apparatus, endoplasmic reticulum, and the lysosomes, Golgi boards, all are present. Here the cell wall like monirans may or may not be present. So here also exception is there students. There are some Protista, they will be having the cell wall, whereas some other they may not have the cell wall. And the mode of nutrition is diverse. Some Protista like amoeba, paramecium, and can ingest the food like animals. So as same like animals, simply they can ingest the food. What are those? Paramecium and the amoeba. And some protists like Euglena have the chlorophyll, so they can have the ability to synthesize their own food material. So in the absence of light, they may become heterotrophic and ingest their Protista like Protozoa. So this dual mode of feeding resulted in their placement both in the plants and as well as the animal kingdom. Actually, so here there are many examples we can speak about the Protista, amoeba and the paramecia. Here these both organisms, they'll be following the heterotrophic mode of nutrition. So like animals, they are going to ingest the food, okay. But so other exception is there, Euglena. So very important students, it is the exception, right? So Euglena generally will come under the Protista, right? But students, Euglena is having the chlorophyll pigment. Due to this chlorophyll pigment, it can synthesize the food material when the light is available. If not, during the daytime, it can synthesize. If in the night time, what it will do? Simply it takes the food material by means of heterotrophic mode of nutrition. It is just following both the types of nutrition. That is the reason Euglena is not kept complete under the plant kingdom as well as the animal kingdom. Understand? So this is about the Protista. And examples. See students, this is the amoeba, paramecium, Euglena, and these are the color images. Okay, this one is Chlamydomonas, and whereas this is the amoeba, paramecium, and this is the Euglena. So all these four are the best examples of Protista. And some of Protista are pathogenic. For example, Entamoeba histolytica, which causes dysentery, and the Plasmodium vivax that causes malaria. See students, malaria is caused by the Plasmodium vivax. It is one of the protozoa. This belongs to Protista. Okay, and other example, Entamoeba histolytica. So it causes dysentery in the humans. Okay, understand students? So these Protista is pathogenic in nature, means it have the ability to cause harm to the host. Okay, pathogenic means, understood, no? The organism which causes disease to the other organism is known as pathogen or a microorganism or something, it may be. Okay, so there are some protistans, they may act as a pathogens. Example, Entamoeba histolytica and the our Plasmodium vivax. And the next one is, so kingdom fungi. Here the fungus means mushrooms, the common bread molds, rhizopus and the mucus. Okay, now let us see the characteristics. Multicellular, our fungus is, students, okay, like the third kingdom. Okay, so it is multicellular, eukaryotic cells, and made up of thread-like structures called hyphae, and it is going to form a mat-like structures called mycelium. And the cell wall is present around the cell. This cell wall is made up of structural component known as chitin. So chitin is nothing but a nitrogen containing carbohydrate, and it do not have the chlorophyll. Heterotrophic. So students, here there are different types of fungi are there. So as it is not having the chlorophyll, so it is simply following the heterotrophic mode of nutrition. Even under heterotrophic mode of nutrition also, there are so many types of nutritions are there. So here our fungus going to follow the saprophytic nutrition. So let us see the examples of fungus. See students, this is the mushroom, and this one is yeast. Okay, whereas this one is penicillium. So all these are the examples of fungus: mushrooms, yeast and the penicillium. See students, these here the examples are eukaryotic multicellular organisms. All these are, students, eukaryotic multicellular organisms. Okay, understand now? And here, so this fungus is going to develop hyphae. Again, it forms a mat-like structures called mycelium. And other one also there, like rhizopus, and the bread mold. All these are the common examples of the fungus. Students, when you leave a bread slice on any table without proper covering, so if you'll observe the same slice in the next day, means what you'll observe, we can find some network like structures, white color or cream color like structures over the surface of the bread. So actually our parents won't allow us to eat such things, means it is a spoiled one. Okay, so actually sapro means rotten. Here the fungus used to follow the saprophytic mode of nutrition. Means, students, saprophytic mode of nutrition means here this fungus is going to eat the nutrients from the dead and decaying matter. So by the process of decomposition, these are the fungi, they are going to get the food material by the process known as decomposition from the dead and decaying matter. So the word sapro means rotten. Okay, rotten means no kullu poyindan antam. Okay, understand. Next, And one more important part about the fungus is, students, lichens. Okay, so lichens is nothing but it is the association between the algae and the fungus. So students, first let us talk about the algae. Algae is the one of the living organism. It is having the chlorophyll. So nachu antam kada adi. See, this is the, it is having the chlorophyll pigment in its body. Our algae, it's like almost like plants. So they can synthesize their own food material. Actually, lichen is one of the association between the two different types of organisms. Okay, students. Lichens is the one of the association between two different types of organisms. Okay, first let us write the name lichens. Here it is association, students, where A and